My name is Nick Benny. I'm a therapist here at the Andrew Center. What you're about to see is a part of a series of videos that I'm doing where I interview different staff here in order to learn and show what it is that we do at the Andrew Center. We have a lot of wonderful, dedicated people working here, and I'm excited for you to be introduced to some of them. These videos can be used by clients, by staff, by community members, really anyone that is interested in learning more about the different ways that we try to serve our community. I hope you enjoy this video, and please see the other videos in this series to learn more. Thank you.
Yeah, so my name is Erica Aguilar. I've been at the Andrew Center for over 2 years, and my position is a lead registered behavior technician.
Okay. Shortened as an RBT.
Yes.
Okay. A registered behavior technician. And we'll definitely crack into that shortly. So in the meantime, what sort of education background do you have? What does it take to be an RBT?
The only thing you need to be an RBT is a high school diploma. However, there's some who have their bachelor's in either psychology, education, anything that's not necessarily related to psychology or behavioral, but we welcome anyone with an interest who wants to work with kids.
Okay. So RBT primarily, registered behavioral techs, primarily work with kids, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
From
And
the age of, go ahead.
Do you yourself have a bachelor's, like you were saying?
Yes, I do.
In psychology?
Psychology, yes.
All right, thank you. And I interrupted you. You were going to say something else.
Yeah, I was just going to say that we primarily work with children from the ages of 2 all the way to the age of 21.
Okay, so that's a pretty good range.
Mm-hmm.
And is there a particular issue that these children or clients seem to have in common, or any and all kids?
Not necessarily. I know the most part, though. We do have a lot, and one common variable is communication. There's quite of them who are nonverbal.
Okay.
And there's some who are verbal. So I feel like that's one common area that I have noticed is that we have the majority of our kids are nonverbal. So therefore their behaviors tend to occur because they don't have that communication skills developed.
The language to communicate what they need.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So when you say nonverbal, that makes my mind immediately goes to autism or autism spectrum disorder. Is that kind of the general population of these kids, or not necessarily?
We only treat kids who are on the spectrum, yes. Okay. Some of them do have and can have ADHD or ADD, other forms, but if they're on the spectrum, then we do accept them.
Okay, so primarily autism spectrum disorder, age 2 to 21, dealing with a variety of different things, but primarily focused on helping them, it sounds like, develop communication so that they can get their needs met. Needs met, excuse me.
It's okay, correct.
Okay. So Erica, if you could just take me through a day in the life of an RBT at the Andrew Center.
Ooh, okay, so typically when we get here, depending on who we're going to be with, we gather all the client's materials. It depends on who the client's with. If the clients have specific targets of being more with peers, so we get items with them that is peer related, games, activities with them, anything that's peer related. If we have clients who are tacting items or clothing, we get pictures that are clothing related or clothes that we can find in the laundry, we get that for them. And typically we have a schedule for them. Some have individual schedules, others follow the general TLC schedule.
I apologize, which stands for?
TLC stands for Treatment and Learning Center.
Okay, and that's where you're housed at within the Andrew Center?
Correct, yes.
Okay, thank you.
So we are divided into 2 sessions. The first session is from 8 to 11, and the second session is from 12 to 3. We have 11 to 12, we call it social skills. And that's where we do rotation, what we call rotations, and we call circle time. So in the first session, what we do is we do all the clients' individual targets. We have snack time with them. Well, they have snack time. They do peer interactions as well, such as recess. If they have if other clients have peer related targets, then we just get in touch with that behavior tech and we have those clients interact with each other. Right up until 11, we start transitioning from behavior therapist. And from 11 to 11:30, depending on what team the client is in, they either do rotations for the first part, which is gross motor skills, music, or art, depending on the day.
Okay.
And then from 11:30 to 12, we do circle time, which includes the calendar, the making of the calendar. They learn of the days of the week, the months of the year. If there's a specific holiday for that month, we learn about it. They learn a specific letter, picture of the day, and they do an activity related to the weather. And they also learn about the weather, the temperature, and what season it is. So in that, we doing those skills or doing those social hours, we help them learn what it is to have peer interaction, taking turns, because ultimately our goal also is for them to not only communicate, but for them to have classroom settings, because we want them to eventually, go to the classrooms, go to school, and have those skills already developed. So we help them have here during that 1 hour period.
So if I may jump in, I apologize.
Go ahead.
And I don't want to throw off your flow. So this, it sounds like, is a day program that is an alternative to just going to school during the week for some students. Am I in the ballpark?
I wouldn't say it's an alternative.
Okay.
For that, we do want them to develop those skills though. However, if it's in the future of the parents and their child's programming to go to school, we just help them develop those skills. But it's not necessarily an alternative from school. Mm-hmm.
So any given client, how often would you say, like in the week, are they there with you?
For the majority of the part, we have clients who are full-time, which is 5 days a week, 30 hours. And we also have some clients who are here 3 times a week, some who are here only 2 times a week. Okay. However, we also have 2 clients. One client goes to school and we have a RBT shadow at school for him the entire week. And there's a client who goes to school 2 days of the week and I go to school with him and I shadow him.
Okay, so that's a piece of what you do also, is sometimes your job takes you into the school system and shadowing there.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. You are in the middle of the day around noon.
Yeah. And so, yeah, once the social skill hour is over, then it's time for the afternoon session, which includes their lunch. And once again, we do all of their targets, their individual targets. They do snack, they do social group. And towards the end of the day, we just go ahead and they pack up their stuff. We want them to be as independent as they can be throughout the day. Okay. And so, yeah.
So you've used the phrase targets. Is that what my brain is thinking of, is like individualized, like treatment goals?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so you need to be mindful of, for each client, like this is what this one needs to be working on, and this client needs to be working on this.
Yes, there's different programming that they're BCBA's, behavior certified, oh my goodness, board certified behavior analyst. There we
Got
go.
it.
We
Okay.
use BCBA so much, I always forget what the name of it is. But they assess the clients to see what goals they need to work on. There's different forms such as VB-MAP, PEAK, ABLES. There's another ones also, but we mainly use those three here. VB-MAP is a much more common used programming that BCBAs use to know what goals the clients need to achieve in order to graduate from TLC.
So that's an assessment tool, it sounds like.
Correct, yes.
Got it. Okay. And you use typically about 3 of those with the clients that you serve. Okay. Well, thank you. That's a lot of information, but it's all really good information. It's really helpful. So, Erica, if you and I are both RBTs, do we each have our own particular caseload, or do we just have a group that we kind of share and work together on?
So we have 4 teams here at TLC. We have a green team, blue team, purple team, and orange team. Each team has at least 2 to 3 clients. Whichever team you're with, those are your clients. So I am on blue team. I have 3 clients. Those are the clients I work with first. However, when you're signed off, which means the BCBA sees your therapy with the clients, if they are seeing that you're running the program effectively, they sign you off so you can be independent with the client. Once you're signed off on all the clients on your team, you can, what we call cross-train, which is work with another client from another team. So currently I am working with clients from my team, but I'm also working with clients from all other teams as well. So let's say if you were on orange team, you'd have 2 clients to work with first before you can work with other clients from other teams.
Okay. So it sounds like there is probably a pretty heavy spirit of collaboration and supervision, making sure that we're all working together to help all of the clients in the best way possible.
Correct.
Okay. Erica, what would you say is the best part of doing what you do, or maybe your favorite part of being an RBT?
I would always, when someone always asks me that question, I always reply with the progress the client makes. I have been with, since I've been here for 2 years, I've been with the client for that long. And I started off with this client, he was verbal, but not verbal, to the point where he could not communicate effectively what he wanted. And now he tells you what he wants, he tells you how he feels, he tells you his needs, when he needs to go to the restroom, what he wants to eat. So things that 2 years ago he didn't do, he's doing now, everything independently. He's communicating to you when he wants you to give him some space, when he wants to stop working. So things like that I have seen a huge notice. It's one of my favorite parts of this job, is seeing the progress that each client does. Sometimes it's also hard because there are days where I at least feel defeated. I feel like I just want to, just walk away and not come back for a few days. But at the end of the day, when I see their data and see their progress, I see, okay, yes, even though I'm mentally drained and I just want to go home sometimes, it's all worth it because I have seen that progress that they're doing. And I have not just that, but I've seen it on their parents' face when we tell them how they've been, how much they've progressed. The parents' face says it all as well. And so that's also my favorite part, is seeing how happy they are knowing that their child is achieving all those goals that has been placed for them.
Absolutely. I can imagine that getting that feedback and seeing like the work that we're collectively doing
Mhm.
is helping, is making a difference. I imagine that would be very rewarding.
Yes.
And I can only imagine over the course of 2 years getting to see from, where that client started to where they are now. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Okay. So kind of on the flip side of that, what would
Mhm.
you say is something that no one tells you about this job or that you wish you would have known before stepping into it?
It is really, really exhausting.
Okay.
Um, because of it's exhausting in the point of what's next. We've done everything we could. Sometimes we're at a standstill with clients who we've tried everything we could
Mhm.
and we don't know what else to do. There are times where we've done the same thing over and over. We follow their BIP, which is their behavior intervention plan. And if none of that works and our client is still in a behavior, it's mentally draining because of how much you're trying your best to help them go through that behavior, help them go through those emotions. But if there's no progress in that moment, it's just you're exhausted mentally. And it also it takes a toll on your body physically as well when your mind is at that level of I don't know what else to do. I am mentally tired, but it's also taking a toll on me physically. So that is something I wish I knew when I started that. Yes, it's rewarding, but it's also going to take a toll on you mentally, physically as well. There are days where you just have to drag yourself to work, even though you've been with this client multiple times and you've seen progress, but then all of a sudden you don't see progress.
Sure.
So that is something I wish that I knew before I started this field. And another thing that I would say would be to not take their behaviors personally. Sometimes, like as an example, yesterday I went to go pick up a client and they looked at me and they immediately started saying, no, no, I want, and they said the therapist's name. And so it's like, okay, so things like that. Like I know it's not meant to be personal, but sometimes I do take it personal because it's like, I want to be with you, I want to work with you, but it's not reciprocated. So those are two things I wish I knew about the
Mhm.
job. It's not like a teaching job either.
Right.
So, but yeah.
Okay. So I imagine there's got to be a lot of self-care involved because like you said, I could see that if you are not on top of your self-care and taking care of yourself, there's an opportunity for burnout.
Yes, correct. So what we do when that happens, we thankfully can talk to our supervisor and tell them, hey, we've been with this client for so long. Can I switch with another client? Can I work with
Mhm.
another client? Or hey, I would like to take a break working with this client. There was one time also where I messaged them like, hey, I need to take a mental day off. Like I can't go to work at the moment. And if schedule permits, you will most likely get the day off though. So that is one thing I'm really thankful for this job is they understand that mental health is really, really important.
Even
And
for mental
if
health workers.
yes, yes. So they're very understanding of that. They are perfectly fine if you need a break from working with that particular client. They are okay if you call in that day, be like, hey, I can't come to work. I need to take a day off. they're
Mhm.
perfectly fine with that also, because overall, like, not only do they want to take care of the kids, but they also want to take care of the workers who work with the kids.
Right.
So,
Imagine that is a positive to that, is that it seems like
mhm.
it is a possibly flexible, understanding position to be in.
Yes.
You feel like your bosses aren't there to try to work you to death.
Correct. They're not. They're not. They have been fighting like for us since I can remember, like making sure that we get, the mental health care that we need, whether it's a little bit of a cheer me up, if it's like a nice little pin, or if it's like a nice pizza day or something. They make sure that they they want us to know that they care about us, and they
Mhm.
show it, whether it's leaving early if we get our chores done. Whenever we have in service and we are drained and exhausted, they're like, okay, if you finish your work early, you can leave an hour early. Perfect. So we do that. So they definitely do watch out for us and for our health.
Okay. Well, Erica, I think I've got just one more question for you, and you might have
Mhm.
already said what you would say, but if I if I think I want to be an RBT, if I think I want to be with children with autism, what's one tip you might give me?
I have seen many people come in and out of the field. Not saying anything wrong when I say this, but
Sure.
definitely know if you have the heart for it and have lots and lots of patience with these kids.
Okay.
I feel like that's one tip that I would give to someone who's interested in this field. It does take a person who has a very passionate heart to help these kids, because sometimes they have behaviors where it comes to they aggress on you. Sometimes they vocal protest or scream for minutes, and that's where we also need to be okay. Why are they like this? Like, why are they
Sure.
screaming? We need to get to the bottom of it.
Where's this
So
behavior coming from?
yes, and so I feel like that's where a compassionate heart needs to take place. And having patience where, okay, he's been screaming for so long, I'm done. But at that same time, it's like we need to have patience with them, because they don't know what's going on and they're trying to communicate as well. So we need to have patience to de-escalate the behavior and to get to the bottom of the behavior.
Okay. So the big thing that I heard there is patience and being honest with yourself. If
Mhm.
any of this that we've just talked about doesn't feel right for me, I probably shouldn't step into it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Erica, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to answer these questions and to fill me in a little bit about what it is to be a registered behavioral technician and what it is to do what you do. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. You too.